This is Dr. N. Kanagaraj, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Applications, JJ College of Arts and Science, Autonomous, Pudukkottai. So, already we have seen about the basic stuff in cryptography and network security. In this session, we will see about the symmetric encryption as well as a few classical encryption methodologies. Symmetric encryption means a conventional or private or a single key. There will be single key for encryption as well as for decryption purpose. Sender and receiver shares a same key for the encryption and the decryption process. All encryption algorithms, kind of classical algorithms, are private key only. Till the invention of public key, this is used as a standard mechanism for encrypting the content. Basic terminologies. The first one is plain text. Already we have discussed these terminologies in the previous classes, but we are discussing again in this session too. Plain text is the original message, ciphertext the coded message, cipher an algorithm for transforming plain text to ciphertext, as well as it can convert the ciphertext to plain text. Key. Information used in cipher known only to sender or receiver. Encipher, converting plain text to ciphertext. Decipher, also known as decrypt, recovering ciphertext from plain text. Cryptography, study of encryption principles or methods. Cryptanalysis or code breaking, this is a study of principles or methods of deciphering ciphertext without knowing the key itself. Without using any keys, they can decrypt the content. That is called cryptanalysis. Right? We are analyzing the cryptography mechanism used in the ciphertext. So, how well it can keep the data as secure as possible. We will determine how long it can save the security or confidentiality or authenticity, so that the integrity have to be maintained, right? So for that we will use the cryptanalysis to assess our cryptography mechanism. Cryptology, this is the field of both cryptography and cryptanalysis. This is a model for symmetric cipher model. Secret key shared by sender and recipient. The plain text will be converted to ciphertext using encryption algorithm. Here we are using DES. The ciphertext will be transmitted to the recipient and he or she will use the same secret key to decrypt the content. The algorithm will be work in the reverse order and the plain text will be occurred. Requirements. 2 requirements for secure use of symmetric encryption: a strong encryption algorithm and a secret key known only to sender or receiver. Here y equal to encryption of x. X is plain text and y is ciphertext. K means key, E means encryption and D means decryption. So ciphertext equal to encryption of plain text, that is x here, with the key k. To obtain the plain text, we need to decrypt the ciphertext, that is y, with using the same key k. Assume encryption algorithm is known to one and all in the world. This is the rule of Auguste-Kerckhoff. He only told that the algorithm have to be open to all, but the security must be rely on the key only. implies a secure channel to distribute the key. We need to have a secure channel to distribute our key, right? Cryptography can categorize by what are the types, right? Type of encryption operations used, whether it can use substitution, transposition or product. Number of keys used, whether a single key or two key or more than two keys. Way in which plaintext is processed, block or stream. Block means a block of data will be processed 4-bit, 8-bit, 12-bit. In stream, bit by bit the data will be processed. Types of cryptanalytic attacks. Ciphertext only. If the ciphertext known, they can get the plain text using some statistical attack on the ciphertext, because already each and everyone know about the algorithm. Now he or she, that hacker, got the ciphertext. So attacking using just ciphertext, it's called ciphertext only. If we ask plain text or chosen plain text, means the plain text is chosen, whether it is a plain text or it may be a ciphertext or it may not be the content itself. So there will be some obviously there will be some error in chosen plain text, ciphertext, chosen text. So in the trial and error method, they will obtain the content. If a sender and receiver using the same key for encryption and decryption process for the past couple of days, on the first day itself the hacker got the plain text. Now what the hacker will do is, the chosen plain text may be right or wrong. The hacker continuously use the key for testing the plain text or ciphertext or even the text is working with the key or not. After finding out which key is used, he will get the content very easily. This is called cryptanalytic attacks. Brute force search or brute force attack. This is a simple way to crack our data, very basic one, and it's a proportional to the key size. Assume either known or recognize plain text. What it does is, simply on trial and error method, it will check the key. It will try to get the key, right? If the key is right, the subsequent data will be decrypted very easily. If we are using a 26 characters in a permutation way, we will get 26 factorial, that is equal to 4 into 10 to the power of 26. It's a very huge one. Time required at 10 to the power of 6 encryptions per microsecond. It will take lot of years, but nowadays it can be achieved in a very short span of time. Kind of hours itself, it's enough to crack the DES or AES. The 2 hours is max. That much of capacity of hardware we are using right now. The hacker having efficient and adequate knowledge on the encryption methodologies, and they can easily crack our data at an instant of time. The next definitions, some more definitions: unconditional security and computational security. Unconditional security means The hacker has all the resource in the world, but he or she cannot break our ciphertext. That is called unconditional security. Computational security means given limited computing resources, the cipher cannot be broken at all. So next one is classical substitution ciphers, where letters of plain text are replaced by other letters or by numbers or symbols. Or if plain text is viewed as a sequence of bits, then substitution involves replacing plain text bit patterns with ciphertext bit patterns. This is not a very big deal, just we are replacing the plain text with some other letters or numbers or symbols. That's it, right? The first one is Caesar cipher. This is earliestly known as substitution cipher, also known as Caesar cipher. It's been created by Julius Caesar. There is a tale behind this Caesar cipher. What is that means? During the early days of Julius and Caesar, Caesar sent his love letter to Julius. So he need to send through the soldiers only. The soldiers read the love letter before sending the data to the Julius. So when at the dinner time, the soldiers who known about the love letter, they have discussed among them. One day Caesar heard about the love letter, and then he created a cipher text with +3 as a key. He sent the key first and then he sent the letter next. That's called Caesar cipher nowadays. There is another term called general Caesar cipher. The key will be +n, that is, it can be from +1 to +26, the number of alphabets we are having in English. And this one of the example, meet me after the toga party. The plain text will be in small case and the ciphertext will be in the capital case. You can see here M, N, O and P, E, F, G and then G and H, F, G, H, F, G, H, U, V, W, N, O, P, F, G, H, right? So we can see the plain text and ciphertext with the +3 key here. So this is the sample transformation from A to Z, and mathematically give each letter a number. So we will have the cipher as, that is Caesar cipher as, ciphertext equal to encryption of plain text, which will be equal to P plus key, that is plain text plus key mod 26. During decryption, the ciphertext will be subtracted with the key and then it will go for mod 26, right? Cryptanalysis of Caesar cipher. There is only 26 possible ciphers. A maps to A, B, C, D, E, F up to Z. Could simply try each in turn, so that is called brute force search. Given ciphertext, just try all the shift of letters, we can get the plain text, right? In monoalphabetic cipher, rather than just shifting the alphabet, it will shuffle the letters arbitrarily. We all know in the during our kid life, right, we all know about the jumbled words. There will be some jumbled words, we need to find what word it is, right? That is called jumbled word. Here it is called as shuffle. Each plain text letter maps to a different random ciphertext. N's key is 26 letters long. Plain text and the ciphertext, right? Here you can see the plain text and the ciphertext. If we wish to replace letters, this is our plain text, and subsequent characters will be here in the ciphertext according to the above one. Mono, right? Mono means single character, right? You need to remind this word, right? Monoalphabetic cipher security. So this is not 1026, this is 10 to the power of 26 keys, right? So we might think, wow, that's a very huge number, that 10 to the power of 26 into 4 will be very huge, but that's not a right one, that's totally wrong. There is just 26 factorials, that is 26 into 25 into 24 into 23 into up to 1, right? You all know about the factorial. So it will be very easy to the hackers. Using brute force search, they can get the plain text. So language has its own characters and attributes. So redundancy and cryptanalysis, we need to consider about the language redundancy and cryptanalysis right now. Human languages are redundant. We all know we are using the, a, and the vowels a, e, I, o, u in all the words. There is a term called diagrams and trigrams and some stuffs like that to cryptanalyze our data. Letters are not equally commonly used, right? Some of the letters are mostly used and few letters are never used. And this is some sample. T, R, N, I, O, A, S are most common letter. Z, J, K, Q, X are fairly rare letters we are using right now. So these called single, double and triple, trigrams, bigrams, right? So that's a thing. I have tables of single, double and triple letter frequencies. So from this table they can easily figure out what the ciphertext actually have, right? So these say to EZ and the relative frequency of occurrence. So E as the most common letter in English. Using cryptanalysis, right? We need to consider about the cryptanalysis during the development of cryptography. If it has good strength during the cryptanalysis process, then the algorithm is very good to use in public. Key concept: monoalphabetic substitution ciphers do not change relative letter frequencies, and it's been discovered by Arabian scientists in 9th century. Calculate letter frequencies for ciphertext, compare counts or plots against known values. If Caesar cipher, look for more common peaks or troughs, like already I have told, like the combinations, right? For more monoalphabetic, must identify each letter, tables of common triple or double letters, which might help during the cryptanalysis process. So this is one of the example for cryptanalysis. This is a given ciphertext. So we can get the relative letter frequencies, and here we are guessing P and Z are E and T, and we are guessing ZW is the TH, and hence ZWP is the, that is THE, right? Proceeding with the trial and error, finally we will get, it was disclosed yesterday that several informal but direct contacts have been made with the political representatives of the Viet Cong in Moscow. Play for cipher. So this is one of the most famous cipher methodology which was discovered in the 19th century. Not even the large number of keys in a monoalphabetic cipher provides security. One approach to improving security was to encrypt multiple letters, that is polyalphabetic, right? The play for cipher is a very known example which was invented by Charles Wheatstone in 1854 but named after his friend Baron Playfair. So Playfair key matrix, which will have 5 into 5 matrix, the letters will be put into the 5 into 5 matrix and the rest of the matrix will be filled with other letters in the alphabetic. Here we are using monarchy as our key. After that we are using the alphabets which are not used in the plain text. So we are having certain rules and regulations to do the plain text encrypted 2 letters at a time, right? It will get two letters, right? Pair of letters. If a pair is a repeated letter, insert a filler like X. For example, if balloon which has double L, the next L will be replaced with X and the letter will be moved to the next one. If both letters fall in the same row, each with letter to right, that is kind of wrapping back to start from end, அதாவது பின்னாடி இருக்கிறது வந்து முன்னாடி வந்து சேர்ந்துரும், kind of a circular queue, right? If both letters fall in the same column, the next, right, replace each with letter below it. So again wrapping to top from bottom, right, like kind of circular queue from top to bottom. Otherwise each letter is replaced by the one in its row in the column of the letter of the other letter of the pair. Example, HS encrypts to BP and EA to IM or JM as desired, right? Security of the Playfair cipher. Security much improved over monoalphabetic. When we are comparing with the monoalphabetic, it's quite security but not so secured at all. Since we are having 26 into 26 equal to 676 diagrams, would need a 676 entries frequency table to analysis, which we have been comparing with monoalphabetic, that's just 26, right? And correspondingly more ciphertext was widely used for many years during the World War I by British and US militaries. It can be broken given a few hundred letters, since still has much of plain text structure. The next one is polyalphabetic ciphers. Another approach to improving security is to use multiple cipher alphabets. In the previous models, we have seen the replacement algorithms working on a single alphabet or pair. Now the method is improvised to polyalphabetic, that is 2 or more. It makes cryptanalysis harder with more alphabets to guess and flatter frequency distribution. There will be a flat surface in the graph for that diagrams and bigrams and trigrams. Use a key to select which alphabet is used for each letter of the message. Use each alphabet in turn and repeat from start after end of key is reached. Wigner cipher. The simplest polyalphabetic substitution cipher is the Wigner cipher. There will be a Wigner table we will see in the next slide. Effectively multiple Caesar ciphers will be used in the beginner cipher. Key is multiple letters long, that is k equal to k1, k2 to kd. Ith letter specify ith alphabet to use. It will use each alphabet in turn and also repeat from start after the letters in message. Decryption simply works in reverse. For example, you can write the plain text, write the keyword repeated above it, use each key letter as a Caesar cipher key, encrypt the corresponding plain text letter. Here we are using deceptive as our key, so we are typing deceptive, deceptive, deceptive and deceptive. Plain text is we are discovered, save yourself. The ciphertext is in unreadable form. Security of beginner ciphers. I have multiple ciphertext letters for each plain text letter, hence letter frequencies are obscured but not totally lost. Start with letter frequencies. You can see the monoalphabetic, but here there will be very few letter frequencies only. I already told that it will be flattened. That is, the diagram or the chart will be flat only. There will be very less frequency of occurrence of the same set of alphabets. If not, then need to determine number of alphabets, since then can attach each. Auto key cipher. In the previous one, it is from this previous one it's been differ, as we will use the plain text in our key itself. That is the only difference between the previous one and this one. Here you can see the key deceptive and the plain text is covered with that key. Deceptive we are discovered SAV, right, and the plain text and then the subsequent ciphertext. One time pad. This is still unbreakable. If a truly random key, as long as the message is used, the cipher will be secure, and it is called as one time pad. Now the OTP is also known as one time password, but this is one time pad. It's a kind of padding. We are creating a sequence of alphabets but not having any statistical or linear distribution in the alphabets, so the attacker cannot break the security. It is unbreakable since ciphertext bears no statistical relationship to the plain text. Since for any plain text and ciphertext there exists a key mapping one to other, and it can only use the key once though, and it have a problem of safe distribution of key because it's very huge, so definitely it has some problem. Transposition cipher. What's the difference between the substitution and transposition means? In substitution we will replace an alphabet or set of alphabet with some other set of alphabet or numbers or any symbols, but here we will just transfer the positions and we don't substitute. Here we are hiding the message by rearranging the letter order, that is kind of jumbled word, right? It's also called shuffling, without altering the actual letters used. Can recognize these since have the same frequency distribution as the original text. So as we are already discussed, the security of the transposition cipher is very low. The next coming one is trial fence cipher. In this, cipher methodology, rail fence is used. You might seen the rail fence which is up and down, kind of, it's a kind of diagonal, right? Diagonally it went up and perpendicularly down. Likewise, the plain text will be written in that rail fence form. Here the original term is meet me after the toga party, right? This is the actual plain text and it's written as MEMATRHTGPRY and ETEFETEOAAT. So this is the cipher text. Row transposition. In the previous one we just used the rail fence methodology, but here we used row transposition. A more complex scheme when compared to the previous one. Write letters of message out in rows over a specified number of columns. Then reorder the columns according to some key before reading of the rows. We will just write the content in rows and we will get the content as column. That's it. But we can use some key to fetch which column needs to used as a first one. So here we can see key as 3, 4, 2, 1, 5, 6, 7, so that we will use the fourth column as the first one, APTM, and then we will go to TTNA, and then we will go to AODW, and then we will move to the TSUO, and then COIX, and then KNLX, and then PETEZ. Here the cipher text, right, have some errors. Rotor machines. We all know a rotor machine in our two-wheeler or four-wheeler. There will be a meter determination in that speedometer. It's also a rotor machine. You can see the rotor machine as a speedometer which is available in our vehicle. At the last one it will be meters. If it moves as a for one round, the number will be increased in the subsequent row or adjacent one. If the adjacent one, the first adjacent one, moves 10, the next adjacent one will be moved to 1, so that it shows 1 0 0. That is 10 kilometers we have been driven so far. Like that, in these rotor machines, the machine will have 3 cylinders which subsequently have 26 power 3 17576 alphabets. These have been introduced before the modern ciphers, and this is the most common product cipher which is widely used in during the World War II, and it's been implemented a very complex varying substitution cipher. Used a series of cylinders, each giving one substitution which rotated and changed after each letter was encrypted. The next one is steganography. Very simple mechanism, and it's an alternate to encryption. It hides existence of message. if there is a message, plain text, this plain text will be merged with that plain text. That's it. Using only a subset of letters or words in a longer message marked in some way. Using invisible ink, hiding least significant bit in graphic, image or sound file. There is a lot of mechanism in hiding our content in the images, and it has its own drawback, high overhead to hide relatively very few information bits. So to summarize this session, we have considered about the classical cipher techniques and terminologies, monoalphabetic substitution ciphers, cryptanalysis using letter frequencies, Playfair ciphers, polyalphabetic ciphers, transposition ciphers, Euler machines, and steganography. So that's it for us for today. Hope you are all staying safe at home. We will meet in the next session. Bye fellas.